This is not a story of villains and heroes. It is a story of time, of memory, of experience. Civilizations shaped slowly behave differently from powers formed quickly. History has shown this before, and it may be showing it again. Before borders, before flags, before the modern idea of a nation, the world was already old. Along the rivers of Mesopotamia, humanity learned law. In China, empire became tradition. In Greece, politics and philosophy were born. In Rome, power learned how to rule the known world. These civilizations fought, collapsed, and rebuilt, not over decades, but over centuries. Their scars were deep, their memories long. For most of human history, power grew slowly. Tribes became kingdoms, kingdoms became empires. Each rise was paid for with famine, invasion, rebellion, and collapse. Survival itself became a teacher. Old civilizations learned restraint not through theory, but through suffering. The United States was born late in this story. Its independence came in the late 18th century, a moment of revolutions, not antiquity. It did not emerge from ancient tribal wars or millennia of imperial collapse. It emerged suddenly, continental in size, rich in resources, protected by oceans. While older civilizations carried the weight of history, America accelerated past it. The Second World War changed everything. Europe lay shattered. Asia was scarred by total war. Ancient cities smoldered once more. But across the oceans, one nation stood largely intact, industrialized, armed, and ascendant. For the first time in history, global power did not rise from conquest alone. It was inherited from collapse. Never before had a nation held such reach, militarily, economically, culturally, in such a short span of time. Bases replaced legions, sanctions replaced sieges, influence traveled faster than armies ever could. From Mesopotamia, modern Iraq and Iran, to the Mediterranean world of Italy, Greece, and North Africa, to the ancient civilizations of China, Japan, and Latin America, old worlds now found themselves facing a new kind of dominance. This was not empire in the ancient sense, no banners raised over cities, no emperors crowned in marble halls. Power now spoke in trade agreements, military alliances, financial systems, and sanctions. Control no longer required occupation, only leverage. But old civilizations do not forget easily. They remember invasion. They remember humiliation. They remember survival. A young power may believe history has ended. Older worlds know it only pauses. What happens when unprecedented power is held by a civilization without deep historical scars? What happens when dominance arrives before memory? When authority precedes restraint? When history is something studied, not endured? Resistance does not always come as war. Sometimes it comes as defiance, sometimes as adaptation, sometimes as quiet preparation. Across the world, nations with long memories began to hedge, align, and realign. History rarely remains unipolar. Power concentrates, and then it disperses. Not out of revenge, but out of balance. As new alliances form, as alternative systems emerge, the world begins to resemble its older self once more. To reiterate, this is not a story of villains and heroes. It is a story of time, of memory, of experience. Civilizations shaped slowly behave differently from powers formed quickly. History has shown this before, and it may be showing it again.